in a short time in cooperation with the University of Nairobi and plus many more that we shall really find in the chat room. I really want to thank you so much, Mr. Ali Milton. Maybe that was really good. I'm mindless, of course, of time, but really got the best out of this segment of plant biotech and the related topics we're able to share on this session. Now, if I may really not take so much of the time, because really we are chasing after it, I would like to request Madame Becky to really maybe make a quick presentation, because this is one other segment that for most of my friends, the undergraduates, most of the first years need this segment a lot, because they had approached me a lot more times back in the days. This is really going to be a good one. Miss Rebecca, you should really proceed from there.
Thank you so much, Perez. Good morning, everyone. I would like to apologize for the previous technical problem that we had earlier on. I hope we are now okay. Perez, just to confirm, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can, indeed.
All right, so let's continue. I'm going to be a bit brief. My name is Rebecca Mercy Angom, a quality controller at Cipla Quality Chemicals, Luzira. And I did my biotechnology from 2013 and we graduated in 2017. And I'm going to present in form of a question. After biotechnology, what next? I think this is an area that most of us keep wondering about. We keep asking ourselves, after the course, what do we do? So before joining the course, biotechnology, personally, I had no idea about it, but I was advised by someone who told me about biotechnology. I don't know about the rest, how they got to know about the course. And then I gave it a chance. And honestly, I don't regret doing the course because it's really doing what it was intended for. So when we joined campus, we were worried about the location being in a plant section, everything taught being animal related, plant related. It was until when we finished and were looking for internship places that we started on like trying to open up our minds. So during internship, we had very few areas in mind, like Rwanda, Namulonge, but biotech is more than that. So we try to explore other areas, and that's why today I'm in the pharmaceutical field. So my first job was at Abacus Parentero Drug Limited. Some of you would wonder, how did you get there? We had a course unit called Plants as Chemicals and Pharmaceutical Factories. And from there, that's where we picked the ideas of pharmaceutical companies. And we realized that actually even biotech people could work there. They had taught us, but you know, theory and practical, you wouldn't at that time match them very well. So when we got to the place of work or the internship, we were asked a number of questions. What did you do? What did you study? What can you do? Because if they would look at our transcripts, you see plant-related things, mainly crop improvement. So at that time, we had to explain ourselves a lot because we were new. We were very few people. And we had to explain, this is what we can do, this is what we've studied. So what stood out for us was actually some of the course units like basic microbiology and mycology. You know, you try to explain the bioprospecting. We would explain ourselves because people basically didn't know about biotechnology. So we would tell them, this is what we've done, and this is what we can do. And that's where they started placing the different people. So personally, I was, I think, the first in my lot to join a pharmaceutical field. By the time others came, I'd already done a lot of explaining on biotechnology, what we can do. So they knew we could go in the microbiology department, we could go in production, we could go in stores, the wastewater, and the rest. Now, the thing that inspired me mainly in the field of pharmaceutical, one, as earlier on mentioned, we had a lecture on plants as chemicals and pharmaceutical compounds by Dr. Anywa and Dr. Katura. It was an eye-opener for most of us who went in the pharmaceutical field. Then when we went for internship, they elaborated more on the fields that we can take in the, still in the pharmaceutical direction for those of us who were interested in the field. So after internship, I went back to the same place and I went as a volunteer at that time. So I volunteered. I think I was still alone, yes. I volunteered for some time and then I was given a job. So by the time I was given the job, many of my colleagues had not got jobs yet. But you know, when you get a job, it should pave ways for others. So that is what happened to me. When I got a job as a microbiologist, they saw we were doing things and all this and all that. They asked for other people who could do the same thing. And that's how more biotechnologists came in. So they called in others. Of course, we just had to now recommend so and so can do the job, so and so can do the job. So that's how we ended up calling in our friends who had done biotechnology. And then from Abacus, that's where I shifted to Cipla Quality Chemicals, and that's where I am at the moment. Now, with biotechnology, and now this is going to my dear brothers and sisters, the undergraduates, we have a number of opportunities with biotechnology. And now, for someone to do a course, it doesn't mean what you've studied is what you're going to do in the field. The degree that we get normally just helps you to be trainable and makes it easier for someone to train you. You may pass, but if you get to the field, are you willing to learn? Are you willing to be taught? So the opportunities that we have are many. Like, for example, the manufacturing companies. We have the pharma industries where ours fall. Now, the pharma industries has got the pharma sector. There is parenterals, the oral solid formulations like the tablets, and then the syrups. Then we have the food industries, which we have very many in Uganda, and the beverage industries. And I'm going to break them down, some of the food and beverage industries or companies that we have in Uganda that you can go to after your degree. We have Uganda Breweries Limited, which is just here in Luzira. And they also do a lot of fermentation. There is a lot involved in fermentation, and we have a course of fermentation biotechnology. So those of you who are taking that course, you can be looking into the brewing part. We have Uganda Breweries Limited and then the Nile Breweries. So the fermentation biotechnology will help you get in that field. We have the dairy industry. Still, we have fermentation, because I remember when we were at campus, they would teach us how to make yogurt. And this is basically that. Dairy industries, they do mainly yogurt, milk, and this and other milk products. So under dairy products, we have the fresh dairy and the JESA companies, which are recruiting people, and now they know that biotechnologists are there, so they take in the biotechnologists as well. Then we have Rehab Industries, you know, the products of Rehab, and then the Coca-Cola industries. Now, when we come to the pharma industries, there are quite a number of them. Where I am, for example, Cipla Quality Chemicals, we make oral solid formulations, the tablets like the antimethyl lumefantrine, the ARVs and TB drugs. And recently we introduced some few products like tonsazine and azithromycin, the antibiotics, and others are yet to come. Then when we go to Mukono, you find there Abacus Parenteral Drugs Limited that make eye drops, ear drops, and the parenteral solutions like the dextrose, the normal saline, all those are made in Abacus. And then we come to Rehab Industries. They also make tablet formulations. Kampala Pharmaceutical Industries, still also they make tablet formulations, and Lifeway Pharmaceuticals still also in Mukono. And recently, there's one that is opening up. There's one that was launched, and I think it's about to start in Namojolo, still for parenterals and eye drops. When we go deeper into the opportunities in the pharma industry where I am, I'm going to focus on that because that's the field I'm in. We have a number of departments, and as biotechnologists, we fit in all the departments, if I may say. We have quality assurance, which is involved in the quality checks for all the products from manufacturing to finished products. Actually, from raw materials, manufacturing to finished products, they monitor the process flow of the entire production process. And then we have the quality control, which does the quality control checks. And the quality control, we have the chemistry part and the microbiology part. And I'm in the microbiology part, and I have friends who did biotechnology and they're in the chemistry part as well. Then production and packing, which does the granulation, the mixing, the compression, the packing, and then the dispatch of the products. Then we have stores, which is involved in mainly the receiving, the filtering, storage, record keeping, and all those things related to the product that is brought in, receipts and all the rest. Then we have environment, health and safety, and environmental biotechnology. We used to have a course unit. No, we used to have wastewater treatment and solid waste management. It is the same thing that is done here, the water treatment. At Cipla Quality Chemicals, we do the water treatment as well. At Abacus Parentero, it's actually deeper because the water from the swamp is what they use in the end to manufacture their products. Then we have research and development department, technology transfer department, human resource, and finally, the engineering department. In microbiology, mainly, what we do is media preparation, because microbiology is mainly media. Everything is done on media. So we do media preparation, we carry out the growth promotion test on the media to ensure that the media can actually allow microorganisms to grow before you can start using that media. You do the pre-incubation of that media. If it passes, then that is the media that you're going to use for your analysis. Then we do other tests like environment monitoring of the production areas and the microbiology laboratories. We do air sampling of the areas to ensure that the air is conducive for the production of finished products. We do subculturing of standard cultures, and this, I think, at the university, they talk about it in basic microbiology and mycology. They normally hint on that. So it's what we are doing, subculturing of standard cultures, identification of organisms. If you've done your monitoring, supposing you've got growth on your agar plate, how do you go about identifying that organism to be sure that this is a particular organism that is present in the environment, and how do I eliminate this organism? Then we do analysis of the products that we make. We have a number of products, like I mentioned earlier on, antimethyl lumefantrine, or the anti-malaria. We have TB drugs, we have ARVs. So we analyzed them on different volumes of media that we prepared. And then we check for the presence of organisms like Salmonella, Pseudomonas, aeruginosa, Staphylococcus aureus, and Escherichia coli. So we check the total aerobic microbial count and the total yeast microbial count, and then we see whether it's within limit or not. If it is within limit, to pass the products. Then we do water analysis. The water that we use for production should be free from microorganisms. And then we do method validation. All the products that we analyze should undergo method validation to determine how the products should be analyzed. We try to look at the antibiotic assay or the sensitivity of the drug, how the drug acts. For example, if you're given an antibiotic, how far does it go? How far does it spread for it to destroy the bacteria that is present? So we try to do that test. We do the validation and the calibrations and then preparations of the standard operating procedures and many others. So after you've carried out the work in the different pharmaceutical companies, let's say the Rene, the Abacus, Cipla Quality Chemicals, Lifeway, you have now an opportunity to enter into the regulatory bodies that regulate those companies. And here we have National Drug Authority, though currently we don't have any of our students or former students in NDA, but that's where we hope to go. We have Uganda National Bureau of Standards. So far we don't have one from here, but we have biotechnologists from other countries who are there in UNBS. And then we have the Food and Drug Authorities. There are other sectors that you can go to when you're through with your biotechnology, like MBN Clinical Laboratory in Wandegea, where they do DNA extraction. And this is something that we did at undergraduate level. DNA extraction was taught. We have National Water and Sewerage Corporation, which is mainly water analysis and wastewater treatment and maybe solid waste management. Then we have a number of research labs in Uganda, like Uganda National Health Laboratory Services. We have a few friends who are there in the mycology and virology lab. This is found in Butabika. We have some friends who went there and they are in mycology and virology lab. And these are areas that we can look into. Then we have Uganda Virus Research Institute, the Joint Clinical Research Centers, and a number of private tissue culture laboratories in Uganda that we can explore. And finally, Uganda Wildlife Authority. When we were at the university, Dr. Nyakana used to encourage us to go to Uganda Wildlife Authority, though at the moment, I think we don't have anyone there at Uganda National and at Uganda Wildlife Authority. We still have other opportunities like the water bottling companies, because inside there are so many, like the departments I showed you, the departments don't vary. There's quality control everywhere in all manufacturing companies. There's quality assurance. They have stores and all the other departments. So in the water bottling companies, still, you can go to Renzori, you can go to Hima, you can go to Vero, there's Wava and Sipi. All these have departments that microbiologists can fit in. Then we have different ministries that can work for us, like Uganda National Council of Science and Technology. There's Ministry of Water and Environment, and then there's Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, and Animal Husbandry. Those are the ministries that take up biotech people. And still looking at the opportunities, we have a number of seed companies that can take up biotechnologies. We've done crop improvement, and I think it's still there. We do crop improvement. We have East African seeds where you can go and do some good job. There's Pulse seeds, Victoria seeds, and Bromo seeds, mainly in Mukono. Then we have sugar factories that can still take up biotechnologists like Kakira, Lugazi, and Kinyara Sugar Works. Then the agricultural opportunities. Mainly when we were at campus, we knew mainly about the agricultural opportunities, but other sectors we wouldn't really explore, but some of them are here. I'm glad that Ali comes from one of them, the National Agricultural Research Laboratory in Kawanda. Then there is National Crop Resources Research Institute in Amulonge, the Zonal Agricultural Research Center we have in Mbarara, Kabale, and Serere, Naro, and then National Animal Genetic Resources Center and Data Bank, which is in Entebbe. And this one is they do mainly the storage of semen for these superior bulls and other things, the molecular markers, which I don't want to go in for that because that is not my field. And then I would also like to encourage my dear brothers and sisters, as you do your course, try to look at the professional certificates that you can do as a person to boost in your career. Like, for example, you can do a certificate in data analysis that can help you when you get out. Actually, there are people who are living on data analysis. All universities send out people every year and they have to do a research and they need data analysts. So if you can get a certificate in data analysis and you do that, that is also okay. You can also do a certificate in brew and a diploma in brewing for those who want to explore more in the fermentation biotechnology field. You can as well do monitoring and evaluation. Mainly, this can help you if you're working with NGOs that is biotech related. Then there's project planning and management, and finally, ISO, or International Organization for Standardization. UNBS currently has this program and they do it on a yearly basis. And then if this goes well, you can still venture into the field of academia. We have a number of master programs that we can go for. But from my personal experience, maybe I can tell you, when I finished, I went to my workplace and I applied for a master's in pharmaceuticals and health supplies management. And it was hard to give me the course because they couldn't believe that a biotechnologist could do pharmaceuticals and health supplies. Actually, they believed that it was only for the pharmacist. So I was still the first biotechnologist to do that course. It's like I was given a chance to see whether I could manage or not, because they insisted that it was pharmacy-related field. But since I was in a pharmaceutical company, I was given the course. So the good news is, after finishing the research and everything, they actually realized that, yeah, biotechnologists can also do this course, and it's now open for all biotechnologists. So we can also venture into other MSc programs like clinical microbiology and molecular biology. We have one student also, biotechnology, Maya. She's also finalizing in this. We have MSc in public health, though it is a bit competitive. MSc in biotechnology, bioinformatics, bioethics, there's business administration, procurement management, monitoring and evaluation, botany, and finally, the one I'm doing or finalizing, MSc in pharmaceuticals and health supplies management. Now, the challenges that we faced, one, we feel that there should be a review of this the curriculum to include some of the course units like inventory management, because ideally you find that every workplace has an inventory management, and even if you go on a personal level, maybe let's say to do your business, you still have to manage your inventory. So we feel that this should be something that should be included in the course, inventory management. Then procurement, because with inventory management, actually, before you even get to the field, at least you should have an idea of what the stock cards are, the bin cards, before you get to the field. Then the procurement bit, there's a lot of procurement done on daily basis. So if someone can get to know about the procurement process, the bidding process, it's actually also okay. Then the quality management, every manufacturing company or every institution has quality assurance, quality control, and quality planning. So I feel like it's better if we include this as part of the course units, or we review and capture some of these course units, or we add them as part of our course units. And then a few of our friends had challenges, especially the ones that went to Lancet laboratories. They were sent away because they didn't have practicing license. But either way, they were absorbed in other places. So practicing license still stands a barrier. Much as biotechnology is broad, they'll give you that field of pharmaceutical, the health sector, but the health sector is still a problem for us because we don't have the practicing license, and you can't practice when that is missing. And finally, there are some unexplored fields that you guys can take up, like herbal medicines. We have things like essential oils. They teach extraction of oils at the university, but we don't have people who are doing that currently. There's crude drugs and herbal drugs. Recently, we had COVID and COVID-X and